Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Disclaimer, there's gonna be a lot of ambient noise in this video because the birds are very loud today, which is kind of cool. But today's video, I wanted to go through my entire collection and I grabbed every fragrance, minus maybe one or two, that I'm absolutely like in love with. So this isn't like a top 10, this isn't like a favorite for summer, but I wanted to go through each of these fragrances with you guys and tell you why I love them so much. I wanted to do this because my collection is so large and because of the way that I actually add fragrances to my collection, I wanted to really kind of pare it down and talk to you guys why each of these fragrances I love, why I added them to collection, how I added them to my collection, how I came about getting them, and just kind of like take you through like this like fragrance journey. This video will be long. Their birds are very loud, so I'm sorry if it's very unprofessional, but I thought this might be a fun video to just kind of sit down, talk to you guys about fragrance, and share with you the ones in my collection that I love the most and why. The other thing I tried to do with this video is to not choose too many from one house. So if there's a few fragrances that are missing from this list that you think, wait, you really love that one, I did try not to have like 50 of one house and like one of another. I tried to kind of have a nice variety. Now, like I said before, this video is going to be very long, so I'm very sorry. But again, I want this to be just kind of like a fun video where I sit and I talk to you guys. It is also very hot here, so at some point I'm gonna put my hair up, so just apologizing again for the unprofessionalism of this video, but this is more of a casual sit-down talk video. Now, the other thing I didn't include is I didn't include any fragrances that were bespoke to me. So any bespoke fragrance that I worked on, or like the fragrance I worked on with Christy or Tiger, those aren't part of this list. Those are obviously favorites of mine, but I kind of wanted to keep it more to fragrances that you could go out and purchase. Also, this video is gonna be, I don't know if that's the right way to turn it, hi. Again, I'm very sorry. So the first one we're gonna talk about, I'm just gonna grab them because I have them all kind of laid out here, maybe I'll show you at the end, is one that I purchased on an Indiegogo, and it's Oh My Soul from 4160 Tuesdays London. This was the fragrance created for the Facebook group Oh My Soul. It's one of my favorite Facebook groups. This particular fragrance I purchased. There's a kitty over there. Oh, hold on. What are you doing? You're not supposed to be out here. Isn't she cute? If you haven't noticed, there's gonna be a lot of distractions in this video. It's just anytime I film out here, distractions. But this was part of an Indiegogo, and I love the Facebook group. I hadn't purchased anything from 4160 Tuesdays London. I think I tried a sample or two. I love the idea of the nose, and I just thought this would be a really great project to back. So I backed it, and I got the big bottle of it, and actually when I received the bottle, it was during Hurricane Irma. So I don't know if you guys remember that time. It was very hectic. It's ultimately what fueled my move to Gainesville. So yeah, obviously it was a huge life-changing thing. And ultimately it was so beautiful and came at the right time that I really developed an attachment to this scent. It really is beautiful, and it's one of like my top 10 fragrances in my collection. But on top of it just smelling amazing, on top of it just being kind of the right place, the right time. The fact that it was also kind of like supporting a Facebook group that I really loved, and it was kind of a surprise because it was a project I backed blind. The entire situation around this scent was like positive and just kind of therapy to some degree. So I've definitely developed an attachment to this scent, and I do love it. For some people, fragrance is therapy. For some people, fragrance is art. For some people, it's a way to express themselves. They just like to smell good. There's no right or wrong way to really wear fragrance. But for some people, scent stories and scent memories are a huge thing. And Shalimar is one of those scents for me. Jessica McClintock is one of those scents to me. They're very precious to me. But a fragrance throughout this whole move, throughout the move, you know, my dad passing away and just everything that's been going on. Weirdly enough, I've tried to film a video on this scent 3 times and it never never came out good. But this scent was a blind buy from TJ Maxx. It was like on sale for $2.50. And I thought, oh, I'll pick it up and give it a shot because that's what I do. And this scent has become so wickedly important to me that I need to find backup bottles of this. And it's from the Body Shop, and it's White Musk Smoky Rose. This has become one of my most reached for scents in the past like 4 to 5 months. And the reason why is because for some reason, this smells like baby powder to me and like plastic toys, but it still is beautiful and clean and floral. But you know, like those memories you have and you can't quite remember? This smells like when my sister was a baby. So like baby wipes, but sweet. And it takes me back to my childhood when I was like 6 years old, my dad, my sister, like the time of innocence and just a very happy time. I'm gonna start crying if I smell this again or start talking about it again, but this has become, weirdly enough, one of the most precious scents in my collection in regards to scent memory. And I didn't quite realize what this was because I actually purchased the body wash of this. I was in the shower and I was washing myself, you know, trying not to be gross, trying to be clean and hygienic. And I just remember like being sad and happy and then realizing what the smell was related to. And then this was obviously stronger and then just kind of like holding this close. So this is a very treasured scent in my collection. Smoky Rose again from the Body Shop. Absolutely love that scent. I need to find a backup bottle of it. It's not hard to find, it's not crazy expensive, but it is one of those scents that is very, very, very precious to me right now. And it kind of came out of left field because I know how to feel about Jessica McClintock. I know how to feel about Shalimar. I know how to feel about my dad's colognes. But that kind of like wave of scent memory and feeling like caught me by surprise. If you are new to my channel, I think you'll know my love for Elizabeth Arden green tea scents. I picked the wrong bottle. This is supposed to be Elizabeth Arden green tea. I actually picked up the Lotus, but this bottle represents Elizabeth Arden green tea. It's probably the scent I wore the most my entire life. I really, truly have worn the crap out of that scent. I've gone through bottles and bottles and bottles and bottles and bottles. It's just one of the most beautiful scents. It was my first, my first experience, there we go, with Francis Kurkdjian. Really kind of cemented my love for that nose when I realized he created the scent and just kind of opened me to a world of olfactive like experiences and uniqueness, and I'm using the wrong words, I'm sorry. There's a wasp in here, so again, if I'm distracted, I'm sorry, I'm like deathly scared of wasps, but if he stays up there, we're okay. Just a beautiful scent that will always be a favorite in my collection. Another one that you, if you're familiar with my channel, you know is like one of my favorite fragrances is Sycamore from Chanel. This is the less exclusive, specifically the Eau de Toilette. I've talked about the differences between the Eau de Parfum and Eau de Toilette. I know Super Jacob does a much better job of it than me, so you don't listen to me, listen to him. He is much better at it than I am. But there's something about the Eau de Toilette that I think really kind of explores and celebrates the beauty of vetiver, and not everyone likes that note. That note can be very challenging, especially when it's so dominant, but I think this one really celebrates it in all its positivity. It's grassy, it's kind of earthy, but it's still dry, and it just has a lot of depth to it. It's really quite magical. And so Hara's still over there and she's looking real cute. Still really a magical scent that I just absolutely love to wear. Another one that, if you're familiar with my channel, you know I love, and I don't know why I haven't reviewed this yet. I thought I reviewed this, but I haven't, so a review of this will be coming very soon. Rose d'Arabie from Armani Prive, one of the most beautiful fragrances from this line. And if you guys don't know, this line is tied with Maison Lancôme as my favorite like designer, like higher end niche lines, like just their exclusive private lines. This is my favorite. In fact, I have, I think, 2 other fragrances, which I'll list after this, that are part of this. But this is a fragrance when I first started getting into kind of luxury, expensive fragrances, because kind of like my first experience with something other than what you would find at your normal fragrance counter. And I was really enraptured with its beauty, its elegance, its uniqueness, but still its wearability. And to this day, it's still one of the most impeccably perfect fragrances I've ever smelled. The other two, which I'm just in love with, is Rose Alexanderie. This celebrates rose in such a beautiful way. It's very transportive. It takes you to this beautiful mythical garden that's just dripping with roses and dew. It's very light, it's very ethereal, but at the same time, it's very elegant and sophisticated. And just being a lover of the Armani Prive line, those two really just stand out to me as something very special. Now this one I purchased, and this has become close to my second favorite. This is New York from Armani Prive. This has such a beautiful, soft, powdery elegance to it. It's got carrot, it's just soft and sweet, but still unisex. Like, this smells good on men or women. Like, anyone can wear this, and fragrance is genderless, so it doesn't matter. But this just has a beautiful, the layers in the scent are beautiful. They're soft, they're pillowy, they're wispy, they're powdery, but there's still a presence to the scent. And this was just something I wasn't expecting from Armani Prive, and they just hit it out of the ballpark. And so this has become one of my most beloved Armani Prive fragrances. In fact, those three are my favorites, like hands down. If I had to sell my entire collection, these three would be ones that I would definitely keep, just because I'm very attached and attracted to those scents. Now, talking about attraction, I'm sorry for my segues and my humor. I'm really not very funny and very cringy. I apologize. But speaking about attractive scents, one that to this day is still one of my most complimented fragrances, to this day is still a fragrance that I love to wear. I think is very bold and powerful. It can be very overpowering for other people, but I personally love it, is Lust from Guerlain Perfumes. This is the older bottle. I'm literally almost out of this. When I'm obviously gonna get another bottle of it. This is quite literally a spicy jasmine. It smells like red hots and jasmine. And that is such a complimentary composition. It just smells so good on the skin. It smells so sexy, it's attention grabbing. And this is just kind of like a fragrance that I personally love, because I love the attention that it gets, because it's usually positive, and it's just very empowering. And I love the fact that it literally just smells like red hots and jasmine, but it's really attractive. And so for kind of selfish reasons, this is part of that list. Now, for unselfish reasons is Aqua Universalis Forte from Francis Kurkdjian. I have a few Francis Kurkdjian scents here, so I'm just put them all together. So guys, how to put my hair up. It's getting way too hot, but my ponytail looks bad. Whatever, I don't care. Anyway, talking about Francis Kurkdjian. So I have 4 fragrances right here. The first one is obviously my wedding day scent, Aqua Universalis Forte. I've already talked about this fragrance. Obviously, my love for these guys is so insane, it's ridiculous. I've done so many videos, you see these on so many lists. This is Baccarat Rouge, the Eau de Parfum. This is Baccarat Rouge, the Extrait. I'm going less into these fragrances than the other ones in this video, because I've talked so much about these scents and I have dedicated videos to these fragrances. So I don't want to kind of beat a dead horse in regards to this. But another one that you guys probably know about is Oud Cashmere Mood. I would say out of Francis Kurkdjian's entire lineup, this is the most challenging. This one and Velvet Mood are the most challenging fragrances out of his entire lineup. Some people really love them, some people don't. I cherish this scent and love it so dang much. It just smells amazing to me, and it kind of takes me back, and I talked about this before, but I'll kind of, since I'm skipping over 3 scents, I can go a little bit into this. When I was growing up, I was in Girl Scouts, and I was the weirdo that was always in front of the campfire, feeding it sticks and leaves and whatever I could find, and my face was always covered in soot. And I just remember my mom being like, Kristen, go take a shower, go wash your face. It's covered in soot, because I would just stand in front of the fire and I was one of those dirty little girls. And my merit badge, because they would give us our merit badges that we earned, but they would also be really nice and give us little novelty merit badges. And mine was actually a matchbook with a match, because I was always in front of the fire. And I actually thought about trying to find my sash, but I can't find it. If I do find it, maybe I'll share it with you guys if you care. But I just like that smell of like burning wood and burning paper and leaves and the dry smoke, and just, I love that smell so much because again, it takes me back to like a time of youth, a time of happiness, a time of pleasure, of just being just a little kid and having fun and throwing sticks in a fire. You know, that sounds weird, but this scent takes me there and it's really special to me. Transportive scents are really important to me. I really do love them, but there's something to be said for scents that just smell good too. So just because a fragrance has meaning to me doesn't mean it's going to be part of this list. It either has to have a humongous amount of meaning to me or it needs to smell good and have meaning to me. So Smoky Rose from The Body Shop and the Oud Cashmere Mood, as scents without the added kind of attachment, they still smell amazing. Like Smoky Rose, it's not the most clever fragrance, it's not the most unique fragrance, but it just smells really good on the skin too. So I don't know if it would have made it as part of this list, but it does smell amazing on the skin, so it is one that I really, really like to wear just in general, but also the meaning that it has behind it is really important to me too, so that's why those kinds of fragrances are part of this list. Now, one of my favorite notes in fragrances is vetiver. I really love it when a fragrance celebrates that note, and again, those notes can be very challenging. And so another amazing vetiver scent in my collection that I just absolutely love so much, that I just think smells so good, and just to me is a masterpiece, is Encore Noir from Lalique. This fragrance, and I've smelled the other versions of Encore Noir, I don't own them, but I need to. But there's just something about this one. It's inkiness, it's deepness, it's vegetal dampness. Oh, it smells so freaking good. It's so good. I truly, truly love this scent. And as a vetiver lover, this scent will be one of my favorite scents in general, just because I think it beautifully celebrates like the mystery and that kind of like damp, vegetal, earthy side of vetiver that you don't see very often. More often in fragrance, you see kind of like the dry, aromatic, grassy side of it, because usually that works better with the fragrances that it's a part of. Now, another scent that, I have two from this line, so I'll just bring them all over here. This line is a line that I love. I think it's a very underappreciated line of fragrances, and I feel like just about every fragrance I've tried from this house has been beautiful, and it's Bulgari. And Rose Essential is one of my most favorite rose fragrances. It's one of the most beautiful, it's impeccable, it's well blended, it's well done, it performs beautifully, and you can usually find it for a steal, so it's also a great bargain. And this, I've gone through like bottles of this, just really, really love it. If you guys don't know the story about it, when I broke up with my when my old boyfriend before my husband broke up, not even so much that it was kind of a celebration with John, it's more to do with just a celebration of me figuring out who I am and kind of gaining my independence as a person, because before my relationships that I was in, it was very much dictated by what that person wanted, making sure I fit that person's personality. And over time, like when I started to be myself, people, you know, didn't appreciate it. And there's nothing wrong with growing apart. I mean, everyone does that. I mean, it happens, you guys know. My situation last year and everything going on with that, I talked about that before. But just generally overall, like it kind of was me leaving that relationship behind and deciding for myself, like I'm ready to be independent, and whatever that means to me is what that means. And on top of that, it was just kind of like the first nice thing I bought myself when I left that relationship, because he was really controlling with money. And I just kind of went out, and I remember having sniffed this a few times and really loving it. And then when we broke up, I just remember saying, you know what, I'm gonna buy this for myself. So on top of it just smelling impeccable and amazing, it's a beautiful fragrance that to me celebrates like my independence as a person. And then my signature scent, and this is Eau de Verte from Bulgari. This would easily be considered my signature scent. I actually just ran out of my travel atomizer that I always have in my bag. I always have that and either Francis Kurkdjian, because I have a Francis Kurkdjian atomizer in my bag. I go through this one so much. It's so beautiful, it smells so good, and it's a beautiful interpretation of a green tea fragrance that's elegant and elevated and sophisticated, but still something you could wear like every day. So favorites for sure. Another scent which kind of really ignited my love, or my new love for this house. I did like scents from them before, but when this scent came out, it kind of really had me, sorry, there's birds. Like I said, very distracted when I'm out here. Really cemented my love and kind of reignited my passion for this house is Gucci, and it's Gucci Bloom. I think just the new way that Gucci is approaching fragrances is very brave, maybe not brave, adventurous. I don't even know if that's the right word. It's different. They're definitely taking chances and risks. Not all risks work well. Some risks are been successful. I think Memoir d'une Adieu was wildly panned because for some people it was hard to grasp that smell. But I love that fragrance, like viciously. I swapped a bottle and then I immediately missed it and repurchased it very soon after. But the thing with that fragrance is that you really have to like chamomile, and the chamomile really has to work on your skin. And if you don't really like chamomile, or if it really doesn't work on your skin, it's not gonna work for you. And so there are too many things going against it. It was a risk, a very calculated risk, but I think at the same time, I think it was wildly successful too, because it got a lot of people talking. I think the people that love that fragrance viciously love that scent. I viciously love that scent. It is not part of this list because I don't like it that much in regards to everything else on this list. But this fragrance just was such a beautiful love letter to white florals. And I love white florals, and the fact that it was just kind of like, to me, a reawakening of the brand, a reawakening of the house, a completely new direction, while at the same time being a really wearable beauty. It just kind of really became a scent that I love a lot and I wear a lot. And I will buy every flanker. I don't even have to smell it. I know I'm gonna buy the flanker when it comes out because I really love the line and I want it to celebrate it. Also, there's a katydid like bouncing around. So again, I'm very distracted. This fragrance is, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful fragrances in the world. And I'm so sad to hear that they're either stopped production or put production on hiatus. I need to find a backup bottle of this because I've wanted to wear this so many times. I'm so sparing with this now. Rest in peace, my beautiful Tiempe Passate from Antonia's Flowers. Oh my goodness, you guys. This is a tragedy. I would have bought like 5 backup bottles had I known before, but I'm just so behind the loop on a lot of things. But this scent is gorgeous. It's the most beautiful fragrance I've ever smelled in just regards to its elegance, its sophistication, it's glamorous. Like, it smells like old world, just glamour. It's like dripping with luxury, but it's still very wearable and very beautiful, very effervescent, very light, but still very dark. It's just stunning. If you guys have ever smelled the scent, I just think it's absolutely perfection, and it's a tragedy that, yeah, it's just a tragedy. Another scent to me that is like perfection is from Bottega Veneta, and it's Bottega Veneta. This is the Eau de Parfum. This is so close to a masterpiece. It is ridiculous. It is so ridiculously beautiful and luscious and sexy and just mature in a positive way. It's just so beautiful, and this particular fragrance is a part of so many of my lists, specifically date night fragrances, specifically ultra feminine sexy fragrances. Like, this scent is just perfect for all those. And if you guys don't remember, I did start a tag last year, one fragrance to rule them all. I don't know if you guys remember. It kind of went pretty big, awesome, which I was pretty excited for. And this was my one fragrance to rule them all. Because even though this is a women's fragrance, even though this is very sweet, the leather in there kind of grounds this and makes this really sexy for men too. And also makes this very appropriate for day or night, warm or casual, warm or cold, casual or formal. It's just really like, would easily consider this the only scent that anyone could need. That's why it was part of that tag. That's why it was that list. I'm saying the wrong words again. On to the next fragrance. I'm not even halfway through these fragrances, guys. Like I said, long video. So this next one was the first fragrance that I purchased with my first paycheck at my first job, which was selling fragrances, and it's Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue. This is my gateway scent. This is the scent that pretty much started it all, and I definitely cherish it. I love it. It smells really good. This is actually my scent of the day, if you guys are wondering. I only sprayed myself 10 times. I can spray myself a few more, just because I'm an oversprayer. It's my thing. Just really gorgeous, gorgeous scent. Love it whenever it's hot, humid, it just performs very well and it's a good solid fragrance. But at the same time, it just has a lot of meaning to me because, again, this is my gateway fragrance into this tar pit, money tar pit of a hobby, which is a fragrance collector. Because, yeah, but I wouldn't turn back. If I knew then what I knew now, I would have absolutely no issues because it's just a beautiful scent and I absolutely love this part of my life, which is fragrance, which is a huge part of my life. It's a huge part of my life, obviously, but also at the same time, just fragrances bring me so much joy and happiness. I definitely haven't looked back. Now, around the same time, I also experienced this fragrance, and it's so beautiful, and it's Lolita Lampica. But this is a fragrance I've gone through bottles of before, so definitely a fragrance that has been a part of my collection for years and years and years and years and years and years. I've worn a ton of. I have a lot of the flankers to this, a lot of other fragrances from Lolita Lampica. This entire line is just really beautiful, and this scent to me is just absolutely stunning. It's a great introductory gourmand fragrance, or if you like the idea of a fragrance like Angel, but you think Angel has a little too much intensity for you, I think that this is a beautiful kind of compromise. It just smells really beautiful, attractive on the skin. I love the bottle. It's just been a part of my fragrance journey from the very beginning, which is why I hold a special place in my heart. Now, Iris is another note that I'm obsessed with, and I think one of the best fragrances out there, Iris-wise, is in Prada and Infusion d'Iris. This is the newer formulation. Just gorgeous scent. Love it for a sniff for me. I remember smelling this and just being like, oh my goodness. Having to go out and get a bottle of this. It just smells so good. I love powdery fragrances. I love fragrances that smell wispy, ethereal, but still have a presence to them. And that's this fragrance most definitely. I don't have any like mental love for this fragrance. It's just that good that it's part of this list. These other fragrances as well, I don't really have any kind of like emotional attachment to. They're just that good. So I haven't talked about this fragrance in a long time, but it is one that I still viciously love, and it's still like my longest lasting scent. It's crazy. It's Kenzo Jungle l'Elephant. This is just an aromatic beauty with that touch of mango in it. It again just smells that good that it is always a scent that I want in my collection. I haven't worn this as much recently. I've worn it more, but I just don't kind of post about it. But I do wear this scent a lot, but I haven't worn it a lot as of late because it's been cool, except for now it's actually really hot and humid. So I've been able to kind of explore some of my more challenging scents that I like to wear in cooler weather. But this is actually a scent I like to wear in the summer and the fall, so I'll be reaching for this one more frequently. These next three are pretty much like loves at first sniffs. This is one that I recently did a review of. This is this is Blue from Ralph Lauren. This is the new one. I know it was discontinued. I can't tell you the difference between the two, but I can tell you how gorgeously ethereal this scent is. It is just absolutely perfect and deserves all the love it gets. And then this one is Donna from Valentino. If you guys watch my channel, you know how much I viciously love this fragrance. This scent was like one that I smelled on my skin, and I like had to remember to go get it, and I just love it every time I wear it. I just smell myself like a creep. I'm just sniffing myself like crazy because it just smells so good. It's just so beautiful and sparkly and feminine. And then this one, I do believe this is discontinued. I could be wrong. But again, going back to powdery fragrances, but still this one's very sweet and resinous as well. Ambergris from Balmain. This is stunning. If you can find this fragrance and get your hand on it, if you like kind of like that beautifully resinous but powdery sweetness, a little bit marine in there, it's just stunning. So definitely recommend trying to get your hand on nose, hands, whichever is extremity, feet, if you're like that. Definitely get your hands on that or your nose on it if you can. It's just really stunning. This next little cluster of scents are ones that you constantly see a part of my lists, and I can't imagine them not being part of future lists because to me these are like perfection. So the first one is the only one from this lineup, and this was one of them. I could have had like every fragrance, but I wanted to be very mindful, is obviously from Maison Lancôme, and it's Jasmine's Marzipan. This scent to me is the beautiful embodiment of what this entire line is. To me, this line really celebrates floral gourmand scents and really kind of elevates them to like a maturity and a sophistication. A lot of times with very florally gourmand scents, they can be more youthful, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the maturity that this line and the presence that this line generally has in most of their fragrances, I think, is something to easily be celebrated. And I think Jasmine's Marzipan is just the beautiful, I just think representation of the entire line. Now, another line that I love, and not too many people review this line, and I don't know why because their scents are so good, is Aerin. And Aerin's Rose de Grasse to me is one of the most impeccably perfect rose scents ever. And as a rose fragrance lover, and as a lover of just anything fragrance, when this came, when I first smelled this, I knew immediately I had to own this. And this is a part of a lot of my list, and it's very expensive for, you know, a designer scent. I think this was close to, I forget how much it was a few $100. I think it was like 150, maybe 200. I don't remember, it's been a long time since I bought this. I know now they have a bigger bottle of it, so I don't know if I'm quoting you the bigger bottle price. But just if you like rose scents, if you're looking for like the ultimate rose scent, this could easily be one of them that I would consider. It just smells so beautiful. And this one's a part of so many lists of mine. This is Rosé All Day. This just smells perfect. It's delicious. It's bold. It's just sexy. It just smells so good. This is one of the only fragrances John likes, which is saying something. If you guys didn't know John, he hates fragrances. So the fact that he even likes this, likes it, is saying something. He actually complimented me on my scent, and I was like, who are you? What did you do with John? But it's just, there's a reason why this fragrance is so hyped in the community. It is just that good, and I definitely love it, and that's why you see it a part of so many lists. Now, this is obviously, you guys should not be unfamiliar with the scent. If you're familiar with my channel, hi, this is Terracotta Les Parfums from Guerlain. Shalimar could also be a part of this list, but I was more sentimental to that as a scent that my grandmother wore, which is why it's not part of this list, but it is a ridiculously beautiful fragrance, and I do love it a lot. But this fragrance specifically, now, I used to, I use the Guerlain bronzer, the Terracotta. It is my go-to bronzer. It's like the only one that looks good on my skin tone, even though I own like 50 other bronzers, and I'm not making that number up. And I remember every time I'd use it, I'd smell it. And I'd get like bronzer on my nose, and I'd have to wipe it off. And I just remember learning about this scent, and immediately, like as soon as I learned about it, I got in my car, went out and drove and bought it, because I think it was like when it came out in the summertime, and I was just like done. I just went out and I got it, and it's so ridiculously good. And it's a part of so many lists. It's white flowers, it's tropical, it's transportive, it's luxurious, but it's still accessible. It's one of my most complimented fragrances, guys. Hands down, this one and Lust, I always get compliments on. And it's just such a beautiful scent for summer. And since I live in Florida and it's perpetually summer, this is a scent that I wear year round, and I do ridiculously love it. Just the way it smells is magic. This next one is from Roja, and the only Roja fragrance I had. Amber Oud almost made it to this list, but I think that I really wanted to pare down this list and not overload it with too many things, but I definitely needed to include Kingdom of Bahrain. Now, Kingdom of Bahrain from Roja was, and I don't know if you guys remember me talking about how I got that fragrance, but one of my favorite things to do when I used to go to the Neiman Marcus down in Fort Lauderdale is my essay there, Larry. He and I, we had this fun thing. He would get blind returns, people would buy things online and they would turn it and would be closed. And he would be really interested in trying it. And he'd be like, what is this? What is this? That's how I got Vibrato Unnamed. I think there was one other scent, I don't remember. Oh, it was Hermès Citron Noir. They just didn't have a tester for it, so I bought that blind so we could try it together. Still love that scent. Still very challenging, still very good. And then it was this Roja. And I had I forget, I think I had sold some fragrances or something. I had extra money in my fragrance account. And he was like, oh yeah, it's Kingdom of Bahrain. I looked at the notes and I just kind of handed him my credit card. I was like, here. He's like, you're buying it? I'm like, yeah. He's like, do we get to try it now? And I'm like, yeah. And so we tried it and it was immediately love. Like if I had smelled this in the counter, it would have been an immediate purchase. It's just such a beautifully gorgeous fragrance. It is very expensive, but it's worth it if you like the complexity, the sweetness. It's bright. It kind of smells like a cookie, but not in a like a gimmicky, like low quality way. It has an elegance and a sophistication to this, and it kind of celebrates, to me, flowers, but almost in a masculine way. It's just a really beautiful scent, and it's perfect, and I love it. And another fragrance that's part of so many lists, and I know this one is hard to find, and if you can get your hands on this, get your hands on this because it's so friggin' good, is Viktor & Rolf Rose Explosion. This is the flanker to Flower Bomb, or one of the flankers to Flower Bomb. This was limited edition. I don't think they're bringing it back, so you really kind of have to search for it. I got this on eBay, and I mean, I searched for it, and I just love it. It's so good. It just smells amazing, like world-changing fragrance. If you like complexity, it's spicy. It's got that beautiful Flower Bomb DNA, but it's got so much like opulent rose in there. It has a presence to it, and I love it. So this next fragrance is part of a line that I really enjoy, and it's by Kilian, and this is Bamboo Harmony. This scent is one that just smells amazing. I absolutely love it. It performs beautifully, and it's part of this list primarily for the way that it smells and it performs. It's just one of the most perfect fragrances to wear in Florida weather, especially if you're looking for something like, if you're looking for a really nice niche scent that you want to wear that makes you feel confident, that makes you feel sexy, that works really well in humidity, and you want to buy something and treat yourself to something really luxurious. I think Bamboo Harmony is like perfect, and it performs amazing in humidity. And it's one of my favorite scents from Kilian, and that's why it's part of this list. So this next one up here is Cinis Labs, and this is Absinthe 9. I don't know if you guys know my love for Cinis Labs. They're my favorite indie house, and I could easily have like 3 other fragrances from the house as part of this list, but I wanted to kind of again like tone it down. I'm at a lot of fragrances here, I think close to 50, maybe, I don't know, a lot of scents, maybe around the 40 mark. So I didn't want this video to be crazy long, although it is going to be crazy long with me babbling the way I am. I'm sorry. But Absinthe is such a beautiful interpretation of absinthe. It just smells so good. I love licorice notes, and with the Palo Santo and the Toulouse Balsam, I think this really comes together to create something magical, and it's a part of a lot of my lists. Now this one's very special to me. It's from Derek Lam 10 Crosby. This is Silent Street. This one's very special to me because it's one of the first like real fragrance reviews I did. And secondly, too, this is the fragrance that kind of made me fall in love with musk. Before I had such horrible, and I mean horrible experiences with musky scents, I just didn't like it. And then I remember trying this scent and just being like, oh my goodness, this is so good. And it kind of made me reevaluate my feelings towards musk, and now I really love it. So not only is this YouTube wise just something very special to me because it's one of my first fragrances that I reviewed, it also kind of opened a new doorway to new scents for me, so that's why it's so special. This scent is just gorgeous. I mean, it's perfect. I think it's absolutely perfect. It's from Memo, Paris. It's Eau de Memo. This is a beautiful kind of tart, juicy, bright, happy leather scent. It's just so gorgeous. It's one of the scents that every time I smell it, I am very sad that it took me so long to add this fragrance to my collection, but it's just ridiculously beautiful, and again, just like a happy scent, and that's why it's part of this list. It's just one of my favorite fragrances just in general, just because it smells really good. The same can be said for By the Fireplace from Replica. This scent to me just screams everything fall, everything beautiful about a fire, kind of like you guys know my love with fire, but there's something sexy and nutty and earthy about this too. A little bit sweet, aromatic. It's just really gorgeous scent. The community loves it. I agree completely with the hype. I think it's magnificent. And another fragrance that the community loves, that's newer to the community, that I'm particularly hugely attracted to, I just love this fragrance, is one of the newer ones to my collection, and it's B from Zoologist. There was like 5 of the fragrances I could have added to this whole list, but I really wanted to keep this list below 50. And so I decided to just choose my favorite from Zoologist, but the entire line could easily be a part of this. This is just a rich, beautiful, kind of unique take on the honey note. I love it. There's just something about it that smells different and gorgeous and glorious, and it's just so beautiful, and the story that it tells is so impeccably done. And I love honey. Like, a fragrance that would be part of this list, talk about honey, but you know, L'Occitane has this horrible habit of discontinuing their fragrances, and it's one that I bought like 15 years ago and I had to get rid of a few years ago because it had chunks in it, was Honey Gentle Water. That would have no brainer been part of this list. So L'Occitane, I know you're not watching, but please stop discontinuing things. Please and thank you. This one here is gorgeous. This was given to me. Again, I got this kind of around the time of Irma, and this scent to me is beautiful because of the way it smells, and I also love the story that it tells, and it's Bliss from Perfumology. Now this scent to me just smells like a romantic rose, and in my head it's a yellow rose. I don't know why, but it's a yellow rose in my head, and it's just so beautiful. It's so beautiful, and this is again one of the scents that I got during Irma, so I definitely have attachment to fragrances I got during that time, because again, that was a very difficult time for my whole family, for everyone. I think Hurricane Irma was difficult for a lot of people, like millions of people, but it was just rough. And that scent just means a lot to me, and it just smells beautiful. One of my favorite fragrances ever. And it's from Penhaligon's, and again, there's like 5 other fragrances from Penhaligon's that could be a part of this list, is the remarkable success of Mr. Harrod. Now, I've mentioned this before, this is the Harrod's exclusive. You cannot buy this in the States and have it shipped over. I had a friend who lived in England. She was coming over. I gave her money for this. I'm like, please buy this and bring this over to me. She very generously agreed to put this in her bag and ship it, you know, come with her, you know, so she took on the burden of carrying this to the States for me. I love that scent. It's amazing. It is one of the most beautifully complex oud fragrances that's still very wearable. It's aromatic, it's spicy, it's a little skanky, just a little bit, which is what I would want from an oud scent. And it's just so sexy and masculine. And I really like to wear masculine scents. It's just gorgeous. I love it. I could wear it all the time, and I do. This next one is from Acqua di Parma. There was like 5 fragrances from Acqua di Parma that could be part of this list, but again, I really only wanted to include one, and it's Mandorlo di Sicilia. This is a beautiful celebration of almond, and I love almond. It's one of my favorite notes. I adore it, and I just had to have this be a part of this list because this is a scent that I just wear when I'm happy, when I want to smell good, when I want to smell like almond, when I want to smell good. It just, A, works really well in my environment, and B, just smells so beautifully on the skin, and C is my favorite of the line, of the blue Mediterranean line. So that one had to represent Acqua di Parma, and it is one of my favorite scents to wear and to have, specifically for that really luscious almond note. And last, and certainly not least, is from House of Matriarch, and it's Coco Blanc. I cannot tell you, this fragrance made me fall in love with Christie's vanilla that she uses. It's really a decadent, delicious, sexy scent. The white chocolate in here is just really yummy, and I love it. I mean, it is a beautiful, beautiful scent celebrating gourmand fragrances. It's creamy, it's aromatic, it's delicious, and it smells so good on the skin. I absolutely love it. And I have a lot of Christie's fragrances. I think House of Matriarch is one of the houses I have the most of. Absolutely love her fragrances, but this one is just something like completely different from her, and it's something I really appreciate and really, really love. And that's it. I got through all of them. I can't believe it. If you guys watched this entire thing, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. But this was a video that I've been wanting to do for a while, I've been meaning to do for a while. I just thought it would be fun to kind of sit down with everything, like everything, and just talk to you guys. Just kind of explain why I like things, why I like these scents specifically. And maybe that will kind of shine a light on my collecting, on my channel, on how I review, and just kind of give you a little insight as to me as a perfume collector. So I thought it would be fun. This video is very long, so if you sat through even a tenth of it, thank you, I appreciate it. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If there's any of these fragrances that you are surprised to see, let me know. And if there's any fragrances that where are they, why aren't they part of this list, let me know too. I'll probably let you know why they didn't make the cut. And based off of these scents, if you guys have any fragrance recommendations for me, any houses, any specific scents, let me know too. I'm always looking for new excuses to buy more things. In any case, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for sitting through this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm gonna go into AC now, so I'll see you next time. Bye.